Why is being anxious a thing? Like, why is nervousness and like being anxious, afraid, apprehensive, why is that a thing? Like, can we eliminate that emotion completely? Hello all, I have made it to my destination. I am here prepared and ready for my participation in another vendor event. I wanted to take you along for the ride. So I am just now getting here. I haven't set up my stuff or anything like that. I haven't been inside the venue to see what's going on. I hope that it's a good experience, but I want you to stick around just in case you're interested in vending and participating in vendor events, showcasing your handmade products or items that you're looking to sell. I am new at vending. However, I have been doing it over the course of like a year. I think this event may be like my 6th or 7th event. So this one is going to be a fashion show. And looking at my email, I noticed that there is another bead artist there. So that made me a little nervous. However, we got to make the best out of the situation that we have. So come along with me for the ride. Hopefully I do well in vlogging this event. Yeah, stick around. I do have to record a voiceover because they were playing copyrighted music. But if you notice, I was hot. I was hotter than hot. I was hot. It was really hot in there. And it was really congested, to be honest with you. You see how close our tables are sitting. So that was kind of frustrating for me because the vendors did not really have a lot of space in between one another to set up anything that needed to go outside of that table. And being that it was so hot, we were frustrated quickly. I appreciate my neighbor for providing me a fan. If I did not have that fan, I probably would have melted away. This is my table setup. I purchased that gray crate to kind of give it a new look. I wanted to bring stuff up more eye level to people who were viewing my table, but I took that back. I took that crate back. I kept checking my hair. It was so hot. I was sure that it was one big puff. So yeah, that was me. I just kept looking at it. Now, this fashion show featured curvy models, curvy women models. There were 2 male models as well. This guy was really strutting his stuff, doing his thing very confidently. I enjoyed watching the show. The show was pretty good. It was my first time. I don't have anything to compare to because honestly, it was my first time going to a fashion show. These people were here to see a fashion show. It was the organizer's 10th anniversary with organizing this particular fashion show. So the models are kind of walking down the aisle runway in celebration of the 10-year anniversary. And so I was enjoying myself. This is my first time at this event. I didn't know how things were going to go. So in the beginning, they're kind of celebrating the milestone of 10 years. So I entrusted this to be a pretty engaging audience because this has been going on for so long. The organizer walks down the runway. You know, everybody wants to give her props for doing it for 10 years. That's the reason why I chose this particular event, because it had been going on for so long. So I felt like maybe I would see some success in this particular event because it has been being held for so long. There were people from everywhere that came to this event, people from out of the city. The models had good energy. The audience had good energy. There was a male MC. I love this skirt here. Have you seen this skirt? I felt like this was one of the best pieces that went down the runway. I don't know if it was just her wearing that skirt good. I feel like it wouldn't look like that on me. I was wondering if all the designers were like, did they actually sew their fashion, or was it like fast fashion? Because I felt like some of it was fast fashion and some of it was like actually designer clothing, like custom clothing. There was a little feature of some lingerie and a little salacious runway lingerie show that I thought, kids are here. But however, it was definitely an experience, to say the least.
That was the first time that I had participated in that particular event. As I mentioned before, I think I said that on my previous video. I was sandwiched in between two bead artists. One had a whole bunch of stuff. Homegirl came prepared, okay? She had someone helping her out. She had earrings. Majority of her stuff that was selling, I noticed, was earrings, but she also had beaded bracelets as well. I did notice that she was selling glass beaded bracelets, whereas mine are not really glass. I do have glass beads integrated in my bracelets, but they're mainly like natural, precious, semi-precious gemstones, like your avitrine, and I have corneli agate. But however, and I had another bead artist right next to me that sold pretty much the same thing that I did, but she also had necklaces. There were vendors across the way. I never did get to go across the way because, see, if you see, I just pretty much stayed in my place. The photographer in me wanted to go ahead and like film the whole fashion show event, which the fashion show event was entertaining, to say the least. It was entertaining. I've never been to a fashion show. I did not know what to expect going to this event. I went out on a limb. Let me tell you something. I did not sell not one thing to the audience. Not one single solitary thing, and it hurt my ego like a mug. They started out with the fashion show, and then like there was like this intermission period. It was like, okay, go mingle with the vendors, go see the vendors. And everybody got up and flocked to the vendor that was right next to me. She had a whole bunch of stuff. And I think she was sharing her table with somebody else who was selling tumblers. She had a friend that was helping her out. She had earrings for days. Her items were priced very differently than mine. And I don't know. I don't know why no one purchased anything, not a waist bead, not a bracelet. I have thought about that day because it's really like damn near a week later. But I had thought about that day and I was like, what did I do wrong? What was it? I feel like there was some red flags. When I was reading the contract for the vendor show, it had mentioned that they were not responsible for like you not getting any sales or anything, which is practical, okay? But one thing that I noticed is like it said something about having vendors selling similar things. Like it could be a possibility that there were vendors there selling similar things. Now, as I have an issue with the fact that you have an event and you have vendors there and you make absolutely no effort to diversify your vendors, because I was looking across the way and there was somebody else selling beads as well. So you got 4 bead artists there selling practically the same thing at different prices. Why don't you want to diversify your event? I feel like those type of organizers are just okay with receiving your vendor fee money and leaving it up to you to sell your product. The fashion show was more popular than the vendors that were there. I mentioned in my previous video, I like doing vendor events. I like being present at events that offer vendors there, as opposed to like a market event that is nothing but vendors. Because I mean, to be quite honest, there's not as much competition, but when you sandwich people, like when you put 3 people in a row that's selling the same damn thing at different prices, yeah, somebody gonna lose. And that was me. And I was like, okay, it has to be because the lady next to me was offering her product for a cheaper price, and she was selling earrings. I didn't really look at her product, like I was right there next to her. And another thing, we were so tight knit in a corner, there was really no spacing whatsoever. And I noticed also in the contract, she did not mention what type of space you would have. Now, I do appreciate that there were already tables and chairs there, because I love not having to also lug and set up a table and chairs. So that was convenient, but I feel like I did a lot of work by myself. I didn't have anybody helping me the last 2 events that I did. My mother was helping me, but I didn't have anyone helping me, so I did it all by myself, and I sold nothing. Now, I will admit that I did sell waist beads to the 2 girls that were next to me, the bead artist over here and the bead artist over here. I wouldn't even call her a bead artist because she was really selling earrings, although she did offer some beaded bracelets that had like sorority charms on them and things like that. So I'm really interested to know, like, when you're looking for beaded bracelets, what type of beaded bracelets do you gravitate towards? If you can answer that for me in the comments, like, do you like the glass beads, the more simplistic beads that have like the same type of beading all around? Or do you like to diversify your beads, have semi-precious stones like crystals and stuff, your amethyst, your coral, your aventurine, your obsidian, your onyx? Do you like those type of beaded bracelets? Because that's the type that I like. That's the type that I make. But when I was speaking to the girl, because I was like, damn, I didn't sell anything, and she was saying how she curated her table for the event that she was in. I was like, I misjudged this group. I misjudged this group completely. That not everybody was from the area. There was some people that was from like other places like Akron, Chicago. There were some people from Indiana. I'm in Ohio. This fashion show has been going on for 10 years. I was entertained by the fashion show, but I felt completely defeated when it came to not selling anything. And what made me feel good is that the 2 women next to me bought waist beads for me, because I would have really walked out without selling not a nothing. I tried to find a place in the parking lot where people were not going to park next to me, but I promise I feel like my energy is so strong that people will gravitate toward me, around me, even if I'm trying to be by myself. However, that's a conversation for another day. So yes, this was my first experience not selling a thing to the audience. They came by my table, they looked at my stuff, they took my business cards, they were like, oh, I've been wanting to wear waist beads. I have a pitch. I tried to encourage them, like, hey, if you want to wear waist beads, what's holding you up? What's your reservations about it? I'm here to adorn you. They're a permanent tie-on. I will tie them for you. I also have a card. There's details on how to do it. Most women feel like their waist is not befitting for waist beads. Most women be like, you know, I can't wear waist beads. You know, I'm too fat. I'm too, and they be little bitty old snatch waist. Something about they too fat to wear waist beads. Like, now, if you feel like you too fat to wear waist beads, then what am I? And this is the reason why I decided to sell waist beads, because of the woman of my size. Like, look, you can wear them, but honey, they were not convinced. They was walking right past my table, and I was like, what is it? What is it? Now, I'm gonna tell you one thing. I was so hot. I was so hot at that event. I was so hot and uncomfortable. I was like really ready to go. Once they had the first part of the fashion show, and then there was like an intermission to go ahead and mingle with the vendors, and nobody came to my table, I was ready to pack my stuff up and leave. okay? But I didn't want to be a party pooper. I didn't want to be a sourpuss. I didn't want to be a negative Nancy, because I just really felt like I didn't want to spend hours there. I didn't want to spend hours there because I feel like basically I paid to see a fashion show. Like, really, I got some of my money back because, like I said, the young lady on this side of me, she bought 3 waist beads. And the lady on this side of me, she bought one waist bead. So that made me feel better because I was able to recoup some of what I lost out on. Okay, but I know that sometimes you take a loss. Like, not every vendor event is going to be a win, but so far I have been used to kind of winning, you know, because I'll always leave out with a profit, but not this time. Here I am at Menards because look, I'm gonna check this back. I had this on my table. I had that on my table, and I was just really trying to give a new look to my table, and I wanted to like lift my stuff up, like have it at different variation levels and stuff like that. But I wasn't in love with it. So I'm going to take that back. I'm here in Menards, and I was talking to another lady when I was packing up my car and putting it in there. She was like, well, how did you do? And I was like, I did not do well at all. She said she had been doing it for 10 years. And I really appreciate like the people who give you encouragement because she tried to make me feel better. And she was like, look, I've been doing this for 10 years. She had mentioned to me that the weekend prior to that event, she had drove to Dayton. Again, I'm in Ohio, I'm in Cincinnati. She had drove to Dayton and didn't do good in sales at all. So I know that's a bummer, traveling outside of your city limits to participate in an event and not do well. And she just told me to keep pushing. You just got to keep going. And so that's what I'm doing. So I'm on to the next one, trying to find the next vendor show that I can participate in. It was a good experience. I've heard other people tell their stories about not selling anything. It happened to me. And it probably won't be the last time. But now it has made me critically think the bracelets that I make. Like, when the girl next to me mentioned that she likes to curate what she has available for particular events, it really made sense. And I misjudged that crowd. It was a really different crowd than what I expected it to be. Really, I feel like people were more so there for the fashion show, supporters of the people who were designing clothing for the show. It was a lot of their family and friends. So I feel like even though we were there as vendors, people were more so there present for the fashion show. And they had their family and friends there. I know what I offer is beautiful and worthy. That just was not my moment. And that's okay. That's okay. It's a lesson learned. So yeah. Now I'm at Menard. I'm taking this back because I want my coins back. Because I ain't make no money. So you spend on the event, I ain't make no money. So I'm trying to recoup as much as I can. And really, it's just going to go back into finding something else that's more suitable for my table. So in the future, I kind of had reservations about that show. I had seen it a lot. But once it was taking a long time, when you participate in an event, the organizer normally emails you like, hey, A, B, and C is going on. This is the space you're going to have. They just communicate with you more. But there was really like a lack of communication there. And I already paid my money, so I had to go. And I still forgot. I still forgot things. I can't stand it that I forget things at home. Like, I will think I'm all packed up and ready, and then I'll forget something at home that I needed. There was no way for anybody to bring it to me, so I just had to manage, but it don't even matter anyway because I ain't even sell nothing. It's hard for me to do a checklist because I keep it all in here. I keep it all in here. And my brain just be going a mile a minute, and sometimes I just can't write it down. I just can't write. I don't know what that is. Like, I can't write my thoughts down. I have to keep it in here. The checklist is in here. I don't know why. because I love to write. So yeah, it's like a week later. Tomorrow, Saturday. That was last Saturday. So I've pretty much just been trying to figure out my next move, work on my Etsy. But I wanted to share this experience with you, especially if you're someone that is new to vending, that is looking to get into vending. I'm new to vending. I've been doing it over the course of the year, but I have not been doing it consistently over the course of a year. And I would say within the last 4 months is the most I've ever had shows. Like the most I've ever done shows, like over the course of, no, because I did one like last year in like November. So like normally they were spaced out like once every 6 months, but like I think I've done like 3 in like the last 6 months, because I mean we're here damn near in May. However, I have way more to come. I want to do outdoor events. Tents intimidate me. I need to get over that. Because it's the summertime, because we're approaching the summertime, we're in the spring, the events that's being offered are outdoor events. I hate sweating. I hate sweating because I just profusely sweat from my forehead, and that's where it comes from the most. The young lady who was next to me, they see me drowning in sweat. Now, I don't know why this venue did not have the AC up. I mean, you got people walking down the runway, getting dressed, doing fashion, and it was hot boxed in there. I'm telling you, we was hot boxed in there. She seen that I was hot, but I was sweating. It was running down my nose, dripping on my shirt, and she gave me a fan. She gave me a hand fan, and she had a little fan. And the funny thing is, when I was last here at Menard to go and get this here, I had bought me like, you know, the little fan, whatever. But I didn't think I needed that. Like, I ain't never sweated it out at an event, but lesson learned. Like, I keep on figuring out more and more things that I should be putting in my box of things to take with me. So just in case. So yeah, she was like, yeah, I seen you. Like, I seen you sweating over here. So here you go. She handed me a fan. I was like, thank you. She told me about her motorized fan, but I got one. I just need to get the batteries for it. But however, this video is short. If you sticked around, thank you so much. Please consider subscribing. Please give this video a thumbs up. Of course, it helps with getting my video out there to more people who can be present in my community. I want you to have a wonderful, beautiful day. Come back for my next video. Stay to review some of my other content. I enjoy spending my time with you. So you have a wonderful day, and just enjoy the summer, because yeah, it's coming, and I thrive in this kind of weather. I tell you, I do. But I'm about to find me a closer parking space, because I'm like all the way back here, and I'm about to walk back there. So yeah, all right, you take care.